The stereotype isn't true! Exclamation point. Rocket scientists and brain surgeons are no smarter than you are, study claims. Oh, you better not tell pro-vaxxers that. I think they're of the mind that they think that scientists, whatever scientists say is, the gospel. You better not tell us that we're just as smart. Quote, it's not rocket science, and, quote, it's not brain surgery, are phrases regularly used to say that you do not think that something is very difficult to do or to understand. But a new study suggests that rocket science and brain surgery may not be so difficult after all. Researchers from UCL looked at the intelligence of rocket scientists and brain surgeons and compared these professions to the general public. Their findings indicate that, contrary to popular belief, aerospace engineers and neurosurgeons have similar levels of intelligence to the general population. Quote, it is possible that both neurosurgeons and aerospace engineers are unnecessarily placed on a pedestal. Oh, no shit. And that it's a walk in the park, or another phrase related to those careers, might be more appropriate, the researchers wrote in the study. Other specialists might deserve to be on that pedestal, and future work should aim to determine the most deserving profession. Yeah, let's figure out who the smartest person is so that we don't have to, feel stupid, or I guess we'll feel more dumb. I don't know. In their study, the team compared the intelligence of 329 aerospace engineers, 72 neurosurgeons, and 18,257 members of the general population. Participants completed an online test to measure distinct aspects of intelligence, including planning and reasoning, working memory, attention, and emotion processing. Other factors that may influence intelligence were taken into account, including gender. Oh, that affects intelligence? You better, don't tell anybody we read this, okay? I'm gonna Men in Black you. I just wiped your memory. Other factors that may influence intelligence were taken into account, including gender, handedness, and experience in their specialty. The results revealed that aerospace engineers and neurosurgeons were equally matched across most aspects, although aerospace engineers were found to be better at mental manipulation aspects or abilities, and neurosurgeons were better at semantic problem solving. When the results were compared to the general public, aerospace engineers did not show significant differences in any aspects of intelligence. Neurosurgeons, meanwhile, were able to solve problems faster than the general public, but showed a slower memory recall speed. Overall, the findings suggest that the "it's not rocket science" and "it's not brain surgery" stereotypes do not ring true. Quote, despite these stereotypes in the higher proportion of males, aerospace engineers and neurosurgeons vary in their cognitive aptitudes, as does the general public. Oh, wow. Quote, our results highlight the further efforts required to widen access to these specialties, to mitigate impending staff shortages, and ensure a diverse workplace to drive future innovation. Well, I've always known that. I mean, look, here's the thing. A lot of this is exposed in people, with this pandemic, is like people who are like, who think that if a scientist says it on, if a scientist says something, they're just like, or a doctor says something, they're just like, well, he's the smartest guy. He is the smartest guy. And it's like, if you really, like, I'm a trainer, and I deal with a lot of people's physical well-being, and that takes a multifaceted approach to really do. Just to approach someone's overall well-being. This is a lot of things. It's emotional, psychological, physical, and spiritual. That's just an aspect of you might not be that way. You might not consider yourself that way, but that is an aspect that people engage in, and it helps them in their overall life. Anyways, you're not gonna get anything spiritual from a doctor. You're barely gonna get anything when it comes to nutrition from a doctor. Doctors don't keep up with nutrition. They barely went over nutrition in doctorate school, whatever they do. I mean, I've listened to doctors talk about that. Dr. Peter Attia, he's a well-known doctor. He talks about performance with nutrition and physical exercise, and he admitted that they do not do much learning when it comes to nutrition. So just on that factor, doctors are not, up to date. Like your regular doctor is not up to date with, the best protocols for nutrition. And you got to think about this, like when you're a doctor, you're working around the clock. You're working so much. You don't have time to keep up with new innovations and new discoveries in health all the time. You're not. You're just not. I went into a doctor's office and I had shingles. Okay, I thought it was herpes outbreak because I got herpes in college, but I got herpes gladitorum. Okay, Google it. All right, it's a strand of herpes, but it's not it's not the sexually transmitted herpes. Just like cold sores are not a sexually transmitted herpes, but it is herpes. It's a version of herpes. So, anyways, I got the herpes gladitorum from wrestling in college. You get it, a lot of grapplers, a lot of MMA guys, wrestlers get it because of the mats, and judo guys, they get it from the mats that they're training on, okay? And you have it flare up when you get stressed or when when your immune system's compromised or down, So you have to keep Valtrex on you. Well, I didn't have any. I thought I had some herpes flare up. It was on my back, which is kind of gay. But that's how it goes. And apparently it was shingles. Anyways, I asked my doctor, hey, what is this? It might be herpes gladitorum because I had that in college and, I have an outbreak every once in a while. He was like, what is that? I said, it's a thing, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, it's not a thing. I was like, yeah, it is a thing. I've had it. A lot of people have it. And he's like, who told you that? I said, my athletic trainer in college. He's like, it's not true. It's not a thing. I'm like, dude. So I know firsthand that doctors don't know everything. And I don't need to be told that they're just regular people. But a lot of people really do look. And people, you see it a lot with people who are like pro-science. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't understand why you have to, make that a talking point. I'm pro-science. If you've got an iPhone, you're pro-science. You can't be walking around like, I'm not pro-science. Hey, Mom. It's like, it's almost like silly to even say you're pro-science. But people who are like, quote unquote, pro-science are always talking about how smart these scientists are, these doctors are. It makes them feel good. It makes them feel like, these doctors have their back, and they just have to believe what they say. And there's no outside ulterior motives, making the research or the data less true than it actually is. That would never happen. No, because these guys are the smartest people we have. They've dedicated their lives to science. I was listening to Leonardo DiCaprio. He was talking about scientists. I trust the scientists who have dedicated their lives to this, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, cool. All right, I'm glad that they've dedicated their lives to it, but everybody's got biases. So you, as a fully functioning human, should be able to not give up your ability to reason just because someone has authority on something. You should look to their authority and be like, okay, all right, so what are you saying here? Okay, maybe what's the other opinion about this? Well, let's get them in here and let's have you guys talk, and maybe I can assess what I think about it. That's a smart way to go about it. But anyways, scientists and rocket science, or fucking rocket scientists and brain surgeons, not the smartest people. Yeah, that's great. Well, I mean, you think about it, like those people, I'm not trying to be mean, but they were nerds in high school. They were nerds in middle school, college, Weren't that smart when it came to social stuff. But that's okay. Like like Tony Robbins. You gonna listen to Tony Robbins about getting chicks, or you probably listen to him way more than you would listen to a rocket scientist on picking up chicks. It's a different type of intelligence, but you're smart. Like people who think, this is one thing I didn't realize until I got like later in my 20s, especially when I moved out here, is I did not realize, and it took me longer than most, I did not realize that 99.9% of people that you meet in life are assessing if they're smarter than you right off the bat. Right off the bat, they're like, this guy's an idiot. Or, I'm smarter than this person. I don't need to listen to anything they have to say. I've never in my life looked at someone like that. And you should see how retarded my friends are. Like, I make sure that I befriend the most retarded people. Like, people get mad at saying that, but like, I need to distinguish. You know why? Because I'm still going to treat you the same. Now, what would be dumb is if I had friends and they were, they were retarded. And I was like, no, they're not retarded. No, they're just great people. Like, no, he's a little, a little retarded. But I love him just the same. He's a good guy. He's got a big heart. We get along. We laugh. We play kickball together. I don't know how many other things we could do together, but that's what we do, and we enjoy it.